If y'all do not know who this man is in this picture, this is Bubba Wallace, and he is the only, well, I'm gonna just for the sake of this video call him black person or recognizable or face that stands out in the sport of NASCAR racing. As you know, that sport, like golf and hockey, is overwhelmingly palm colored. And he stands out like a sore thumb. Of course, he kind of reminds me of he almost looks like Russell Wilson a little bit, and probably Blake Griffin with a tan. That's kind of how he reminds me of. Now, I've heard his name in the past, but I couldn't remember what it was about. But that was like the only other time I heard about it. So when his name came up again about what recently just occurred with him, I said, oh, okay, now I know who they're talking about. And the thing is, I think he might be the one of the only black people in NASCAR racing. It could be others, but let's be real here. And I'm not sure what his parental, I guess you can say, lineage is, but I'm willing to bet that one of them is, let's just say, non-black, and most likely of the PC ethnic group. And if that is indeed the case, to all of those out there who are ethnically ambiguous or quote unquote mixed or biracial, just know that you can play whatever side of the fence you want to be on. But just know this: these races out here see you as one way. No matter how bright you may be, they know a N-word when they see it, or when they see one. With that being said, let's get into why we are here. So, in case you haven't heard, Bubba Wallace recently just spoke out about racism in NASCAR, because you know in NASCAR they wanted them to remove the Confederate flag, because that was a flag that literally made its presence be known in NASCAR probably since its inception. And it has always been a flag that has always really been seen, like everywhere in NASCAR racing. And Bubba Wallace basically spoke out about racism and everything like that. And all of a sudden, and we don't know how it got there, but we're believing it might be someone from the inside, he found a noose in his garage. Now, I'm sitting here saying to myself, how in the world did a noose end up in this man's garage? Because somebody had to be there to place it there. It's not like they just walked right in and put it there and he knew it was there and saw it come like that. That's the only thing that really confused me about this whole thing. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article. I don't know if they're going to explain how it got there or who put it there. Well, they haven't said who put it there, but we're going to find out some more information. A noose was found in the garage stall of Bubba Wallace at Talladega Superspeedway in Lincoln, Alabama on Sunday, less than 2 weeks after Wallace, who was NASCAR's only black driver, successfully pushed the stock car racing series to ban the Confederate flag at its tracks and facilities. Late this afternoon, NASCAR was made aware that a noose was found in the garage stall of the 43 team. We are angry and outraged and cannot state strongly enough how seriously we take this heinous act. So it wasn't the garage of his house. So, because I was wondering, I was like, the garage, like how in the world did it get to the garage of his house? But it says his stall. So basically the garage where his car is kept. That's where they found it at. We have launched an immediate investigation and will do everything we can to identify the persons responsible and eliminate them from the sport. All they got to do is look at them cameras. There's cameras everywhere, at least there should be. As we have stated unequivocally, there is no place for racism in NASCAR, yet they had those Confederate flags flying everywhere. Give me a break. And this act only strengthens our resolve to make the sport open and welcoming to all. Wallace never saw the noose, ESPN's Marty Smith reported. It was first seen by a member of Wallace's team who immediately brought it to the attention of NASCAR, Smith reported. NASCAR told Fox Sports that it will work with law enforcement. Wallace, an Alabama native who drives the number 43 Chevrolet for racing icon Richard Petty, said in a statement that he was incredibly saddened by the act. Today's despicable act of racism and hatred leaves me incredibly saddened and serves as a painful reminder of how much further we have to go as a society and how persistent we must be in the fight against racism, Wallace wrote on Twitter. Over the last several weeks, I have been overwhelmed by the support from people across the NASCAR industry, including other drivers and team members in the garage. Together, our sport has made a commitment to driving real change and championing a community that is accepting and welcoming of everyone. Nothing is more important, and we will not be deterred by the reprehensible actions of those who seek to spread hate. As my mother told me today, they are just trying to scare you. This will not break me. I will not give in, nor will I back down. I will continue to proudly stand for what I believe in. NASCAR has spent years trying to distance itself from the Confederate flag, long a part of its moonshine running roots from its founding more than 70 years ago. That just shows you how long that flag has been there. 5 years ago, former chairman Brian France tried to ban flying the flag at tracks, a proposal that was not enforced and largely ignored. This year was different, and it was Wallace who led the charge, calling for the sanctioning body to prohibit the flag. But outside the track on Sunday, vehicles waving and flying Confederate flags lined the boulevard running past the massive speedway. And a plane flew above the track, towing a banner of the Confederate flag that read, "Defund NASCAR." NASCAR has not said how it plans to stop fans from displaying the flag on track property, and none of the instances Sunday at Talladega were inside the facility. Andrew Murstein, the co-owner of Richard Petty Motorsports, told Sports Business Journal that he was shocked and saddened by the incident, adding, "You would like to think that the country has changed for the better in the last 40 plus years. Unfortunately, in many ways, it hasn't." Let me tell palm colored people something right quick, because that statement right there is something that they are known to say. They are the only group of people that actually feels like there has been a shift in this establishment, in this society that we live in. And it seems like every other group of people, especially black people, know that it has not moved. The only thing that seems to change is the time, the day of the week, the month, the year, but everything else that encompasses that is still really much the same. Sure, there are some institutions that are not as heavy and crucial as once before, but the remnants of it are still there, and the remnants of it are still popping up to this day. Look at these lynchings, and I mean actual lynchings of black men that they have found, and they try to claim that they are suicide, which we just, if anybody with common sense would know, is not a suicide. I don't care what they say. That's something reminiscent of the Jim Crow era, and before Jim Crow, the era began. So how far really have we moved in society? I would say we haven't moved that far. That's why when people say, "Oh, it's 2020 and this is still going on." Yes, brain dead one. Yes, this is still going on. I know it's shocking to hear. It is unfortunate, but it should not shock you. See, what happens when you don't know your enemy, everything surprises you. When you don't know your enemy, everything shocks you. I am shocked and appalled to hear of yesterday's vile act against Bubba Wallace in Talladega. There is no place for this disgusting display of hatred in our state, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey said. Now, she's the last one to talking about some division and hatred with the comments that she has made against black people in the past. And when I say the past, I'm talking about in the last year. Michael McDowell, who drives the number 34 Ford, tweeted, "God help us, the level of evil it takes to do something like this is disgusting. This is enraging and heartbreaking all at the same time." Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James also weighed in on Twitter, writing, "Sickening. At Bubba Wallace, my brother, no, you don't stand alone. I'm right here with you as well as every other athlete. I just want to continue to say how proud I am for you for continuing to take a stand for change in America in sports. At NASCAR, I salute you as well." Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was among the nominees for NASCAR's next Hall of Fame class, wrote on social media, "Hopefully Bubba wins it tomorrow. Sunday's race, which was pushed back to 3 p.m. Eastern Time Monday because of inclement weather, is the first amid the virus pandemic for which NASCAR opened the gates up to 9,000 fans." Now, of course, this video will go up days after that race has occurred, but all I'm gonna say is this: if they will put a noose or something like that in that stall, they need to do heavy guard watching of his car, because I would not put it past them. That's why I said you got to know your enemy, because you never know what they may do. He threw a wrench in their little system. They got mad because of a flag. That is the thing that kills me the most about this thing. They are waving a Confederate flag for a group that lost their war. Like, they're bigging up and celebrating losers. Like, how does that work? If that's that so-called high IQ at work, don't give me it. I'd rather not have it. If that's what it entails, if me celebrating losers and lames and all of that is what qualifies for me to have a so-called high IQ, they can have it. They can keep that shit. Okay, so I had to come back on here and add this update. Now, this actually came out today on June 23rd. The first part of the video that I recorded was maybe a couple days prior to this, so I had to include this update. If you can see right here, this is coming from ESPN.com, and it says FBI says rope had been in Talladega garage since October. Bubba Wallace was not the victim of a hate crime. I bet the people over at NASCAR are breathing a heavy sigh of relief that they do not have an investigation on their hands. And notice how quickly they were they were dropping this. It does not matter that the noose ended up there back in October. The fact of the matter is that it was there, period. Somebody put it there. And it's no coincidence that Bubba Wallace, the only black NASCAR driver, ended up in this garage stall where he could clearly see it. So somebody put it there with the intention of somebody seeing it. And I have a feeling many people who was there saw it. They need to find out who was in that garage stall back in October. And I mean, who was the driver? Who was the crew that was there? Because I'm looking at them as prime suspect number one. Because it's not like that garage stall was vacant. Somebody put it there. And then you got this coon Michael Wilbon on ESPN talking about that he's glad that the FBI determined that he wasn't, that Bubba Wallace wasn't the victim of a hate crime. How do you know that he wasn't? How do you know that this wasn't put there for him? The thing of the matter is, it was a noose, a rope put in there. And he's the only black NASCAR driver. I know I'm talking to intelligent people right now. Like I said, it doesn't matter that it was put there in October. The fact of the matter is it was placed there. But they're glad they don't have to do an investigation. Now they're going to go on and act like this did not happen. And I know they're glad because they were about to lose fans. Truth be told, they might still lose them because of this lackluster response. Like I said, the point is somebody put it there. Someone had to have known who put it there, but they're not saying, they're not talking. And because NASCAR is a predominantly white male sport, that could be just about anybody who did that. And it doesn't even matter what the age. It could have been one of the drivers. It could have been one of the pit crew members. Hell, it could even been an assignment sent down from maybe a manager or something, someone higher up to do that. But all I know is this: ropes and nooses don't grow arms and legs. It can't tie itself into a knot and place itself somewhere. Somebody put it there and somebody knows who did, but somebody or somebodies is not telling.